Morning, bud. How are you?
Just like you, just hanging in there.
I
Staying low
hear you.
key and washing my hands and keeping the distance.
I hear you. That's great. The one thing I want to ask you, what's it like being the second most famous Muller now to your mother?
What a story, huh? I'm
Oh,
getting calls all the time. Simple story. My sister popping over, and my mom lives alone, and she just wanted to stop in and say hello, and she's got a good sense of humor, as you know. So she put the sign up saying, "Hey, bring more wine to if anyone's coming."
I
And
love it though. It's got to be
with
keeping her. It's got to be keeping her busy. Like she's probably
Eh,
loving it.
oh, she's signing autographs, the whole shebang these days, you know.
Oh, I
No,
hear you.
actually, you know what? At her age and being alone, it's it's tough, and you dealing with a lot of elderly people at your job there,
Yeah.
and it's tough for them, but they have people there. So for my mother, it's there's a lot of people in her situation, so it's just been a fun thing. But man, has it gone viral?
Yeah, and it's funny, like you said, I went back to work now at the long-term care home, and we're trying to do the same thing. Is just create as much fun for the residents as possible because the daily routines have changed. But thank God, we've kept COVID out of both our nursing homes, and it's been fun getting back on the floor with the residents. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been a lot of anxiety there with not only people there, but the workers and yourself and that. So that's good. It's good. Good job. It's
Yeah, and I told you we all got swabbed last week, all our staff and residents. The back of my eyeballs are now clean. That goes up a long way, man. But thanks for doing this, Kirk. I watched you last week on Hockey Night in Canada and with Wayne, and you're really downgrading coming to me. But I thought it'd be a great way to kind of show everyone that, what you and I started at Queens and where we are now. It's hard to believe 16 years later, but what are your first thoughts? Remember 2005? I remember getting a phone call from you. I was with the Frontenacs, and you got the job, and you're like, "Hey, want to come coach at Queens?" And I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't know I didn't know Queens might have had a program at that point. But what are your
well,
thoughts?
it's look, if you recap and like you say, it was 16 years ago. It's there's an opening for coaching, and would you like to coach Queens Golden Gaels? And I didn't know
You
a
were
lot.
at Golden Gales back then.
That's right. That's right. And the change was at
Yeah, it's
that time it
changed.
was.
Yeah,
And I when I met with them, I was like, "This is going to be a really exciting opportunity." And the first thing I had to do was put a staff together. And you had a great name in the area. Guys recommended because I'd been away and we had crossed paths in summer hockey and pro training camps and Florida and that. But that's where obviously you and I really got to know each other, and right away I knew you had the passion for it, and it was a good start for you and me. We learned together. That was my first coaching job, and we went in
man.
raw. And I tell you, I recommend it for anybody to have an opportunity to coach at the Canadian University level. The people were passionate, as we learn, the coaches.
Yeah,
And what impressed me so much was how these kids can go to a school like Queens with the
yeah,
demands academically and turn around and come and spend the time they have to commit to a hockey program. And I was overwhelmed seeing that. And it really showed the passion of those guys and how much, and you fit that mode as a coach. You love it. You're committed. You work hard, and you built that program up to very respectable. So congrats to you and your staff for the hard work you've done.
yeah. No, it's. I always say to people, you and I, when we first started that, I don't know if we knew what we were getting into really, because we're used to you're coming from the NHL, I was coming from the OHL, and we had this expectation for this group, and we thought, we could change it real quickly, but we learned also very quickly that there was a lot of work to be done, and I think you did a great job setting the kind of the bricks and the mortar, and I've been able to take it to a new level in the sense that it's from that first year the culture we created, I feel. But I do have some memories. Do you remember the first training camp when you myself and Mike Facette were sitting in the stands, and that poor goalie came on the ice and he had Road Warrior equipment from Canadian Tire on, and you're like, Gibby, first task, you got to get him off the ice. I was like, what the heck are we getting into?
It was a great being in charge. You're like, hey, I got a job for you. I want to see
Yeah.
how. want to see if you can be black and white here.
I took my stick and I tapped him on the shin as hard as I could, and he yelled "ow!" And I was like, "Yeah, you got to get off, bud." But no. And again, I also want to thank you for throwing me under the bus that first year. All the alumni still card me. Kirk, you would take us to the Weston Harbor Castle. We stayed in Toronto. Hey, I'm at the Holiday Inn now. You had Lou Morello take us out on New Year's Eve in New Jersey to an NFL football game. We go and watch the CFL now. Anyways, it was an unbelievable time.
You know what? I guess the 19 years in the NHL, I gained a few friends and contacts. But the Lou Lamoriello thing was hard. That like when you told me, hey, that's key that to attract people, you got to give them some opportunities at some time to make the good memories. And imagine Lou, he hosted us when he was with the Devils to a game, an NHL game versus the Leafs, took us to an NFL game, gave us practice time, fed us. Yeah. I mean, that was a great experience for those guys and for you and I. So, yeah, I'm sorry. That was a
man.
Jump all in and
I still tell the story because I truly believe it. Like we are trying to create those life moments for these guys. Like it's. Those are the stories the guys still talk about. And even now with me it's the trips out east. It's the team bonding to Boston. You try to create those moments for these guys because at this time in their life, they're men, they're not boys, and they're going to school, and you want to create those life moments. But to this day, I still think that's one of my favorite hockey trips is going down there. And Ken Danico, you remember Johnny Mack, they were unbelievable to us that day. So anyways, moving on to one last story. Let's talk about Mike Facette. What people don't know, the second person on that bench that year was Mike Facette, and what a career he's had. Like he coached Taylor Hall, and he's back coaching the junior Gaels program in Kingston and doing an unbelievable job. But my favorite story about the Bear is, do you remember the time in Guelph when really nothing was going on and just all you heard was this big yell? And you and I looked at each other and were like, what the heck was that? And the Bear, that's where he got the nickname the Bear. He went up one referee and down the other, and you and I are going, what the hell? But your thoughts on Mike?
I didn't know we had Bears in Kingston, Ontario, but we added one to our staff. It was like exactly what you say. All of a sudden, he was passionate as well, and that was a good group with good memories. And like you say, all of a sudden, he got a little eager on the bench, and the roar came out. Our guys are howling. We're howling. We're like, win. It was cold enough in the rink, too, that it was only barely we wanted to come out. I remember the rinks are a little colder at that level than they are in the NHL. So
yeah. I think there was a little less fans, too, at some games, too. So
we had a little different dress code for the coaches. We were able to wear our jackets.
I sent you a picture the other day of the Twins. Remember how young they were? You and I had all black hair at that point too, by the way.
Black bear.
Yeah.
I were the polar bear.
Well, let's get to it. All the guys have been saying we're going to do these 7 rapid questions, and I'll go first, and then you can fire back at me, and
okay.
And we'll see where this goes. So, again, first question. Back in 2005, did you see Queens ever win an Ontario championship and bring the Queens Cup back to Kingston? Be honest, from 2005.
No.
Exactly. Your biggest challenge in recruiting at Queens back in the day?
Biggest challenge was, I would say, convincing some players that going college hockey would be a better path than going to the East Coast at that time when their dreams were still to play in the NHL.
That's a great answer, man. That's the same challenge I still have now, but I jumped ahead there. Would you rather be a rock star or a movie star?
Well, okay, listen. In case
would you rather be Matt Damon or Paul Langlois?
Well, okay, hang on. In case I've had a chance to hang with Dan Aykroyd, so I should have some movie tips. But the hip, we grew up with the hip boys.
Yep.
Those are music tips. Let's just say I've had the opportunity with both, and I got no future in either one.
Perfect. Here, I like this one. Who do you cheer for when RMC plays Queens now that your nephew's on RMC?
So my nephew just graduated, so I can be. I guess I can go back to Queens because Matthew just left.
That's right. And you know what a career he had. I always say that to you, from a kid that came out of nowhere to, you always ask me about him. And I tell you, RMC did a great job developing him. He had a
Yeah,
great career at the end.
he loved his years there. He loved the hockey. They did a great job as well of that program there, and that's a perfect example of a late bloomer
Yeah.
that you can go and play Canadian University hockey and continue to play and enjoy the game, and that's what it's about. So he's a perfect example of a kid that extended his hockey career. He has great memories from playing on the ice, off the ice there. So that's perfect. He had a blast.
Yep. So I know this one. This one's going to be real quick. Beer or wine?
Start with beer and then have a glass of wine. I'm a wine guy. I started the career with beer, but
I was about to say you're not a beer guy anymore. So. All right, I'm intrigued by this one. One thing you changed in the game of hockey right now.
I think this winning the Stanley Cup is a marathon. It's not always the best team, so I like it where whenever the two finalists meet, as soon as the games are over and you know who they are, start 2 days later. Don't give anyone a chance to recover and recuperate and get it through their injuries. Keep it going. If you can win your rounds early, then you should be rewarded, and that's what it takes to win the cup over 4 rounds. So I don't like the delay.
Great answer. All right, we coached together for a year, and we still talk all the time, almost every other week. One word to describe me as a coach.
Honest.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that one, but you're up. You're on the mic.
All right. Okay. Is it true that you're trying to have more kids than I have?
What? Where did that come from? Next question. Jesus. Oh, Christ.
If you weren't coaching hockey at Queens, what other sport would you be coaching?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, I can't coach hockey, but I do coach my the IP program in Gananoque. But I'm also a very, very competitive under 10 women's soccer coach with my daughter. So Bailey's now playing, and I try to get involved as much as I can with her because she needs some dad time as well. So there you go, under 10 soccer.
Okay. Your favorite guy to golf with at the Cataract Golf Country Club that you play once a year at?
I'm the best member, I'll tell you that. I pay more to golf there than I would Pebble Beach for one round. Well, I'll say 3 guys, so I can't just say one. Pat Murphy, because there's not a bad day in that guy's life, and even if you make a bad shot, he's still laughing. So he's fun. Carl Reed, because he organizes it, and Reader, Reader, as you know, he's a lot of fun. So there's 2. And then I got to go back with my old assistant coach, Tony Cimarello. Simmer and I are very close, and he's the most miserable human being I've ever met. So that's why I balance with Pat and him.
Okay. I know you have season tickets to the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
If you had to give them up, would you buy Leaf tickets or Habs?
100% don't like either answer, but I will go with the Montreal Canadiens because you were there, because I cannot cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs, as you know. You got me there.
You're playing your games at the Memorial Center.
Yeah.
Is the Queen still there?
100%. I'll flip it back to you. Name another rink in Ontario they played in. I know you have that the Queen's still there.
Winnipeg.
That's not Ontario.
Oh, in Ontario.
Good answer, but
Ontario.
It's in North Bay. That's exactly right.
North Bay. Oh, you got me.
There you go. She's smaller there than the Memorial Center, but
okay. Well, I gave it away. The only NHL team there was Winnipeg. So you live in the lovely town of Gananoque. What is the population?
Well, it fluctuates, but I'm guessing right now 5,200 on a good day.
So half-ton truck or sports car?
A good one. Truck. I'm not a sports car guy. That's a good one, though.
There we go. That's my 7.
Listen, you went off the board on me. That wasn't fair. I gave you mine. Anyways, that was fun. The first one you just had me too going, what the? Anyways, Kirk, I'm gonna end it with the one word I describe you as genuine, and it gives the example of you going on with Wayne Gretzky last week and coming on with me today. It just shows the type of person you are, and you've always been a mentor to me. And I thank you for all the times you pick up the call and always come and help me out. But I thought it was interesting, like last week, you and I had a long chat and how mentorship works both ways. And I said to you on that call, I think that's one thing I always recommend to new coaches. If you're getting into coaches, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't have to Kirk Muller at NHL level, but find a mentor that bounce things off and look up to, and never think you are the smartest guy in the room, because I think that's when you fail as a coach. But I'll just end on that. What are your thoughts on mentorship and giving back?
100%. You know what was, 19 years of playing right up to the end, you go through, that's 2 decades of in the NHL playing. You're going to see changes, and you're going to see some things that you believe that will never change in the game. But you got to be proactive and learn from guys before you. You got to learn guys, your peers, and then the young coaches below you, as far as, they're seeing the game and they're evolving with it, at the time that's present. And I think it's so important that whether you're a player, then you get into coaching and anything in any field, that you keep open-minded on what happened in the past. And I think you should take pride in knowing the past and the history of, say, the game, but also work with the young coaches and see what's evolving, what's new and everything. And if you keep that open mind, you're going to be able to, continue to stay in the game and progress with it. And then guys like yourself, I mean, the other day, you worked with Hockey Canada, you're working at Queens, you've built a great program. I'm in the NHL, and yet we can sit down there and I can learn from you on new ideas that are happening. You can brainstorm with me about stuff that continues to work in the NHL over longevity and what changes. So, just a simple afternoon conversation with you, both of us, I think, walk away knowing more about the game, and that's what the relationships are all about, and being open-minded on that part of it.
Perfect. Well, listen, man, stay safe. Say hi to Stace and the kids. And I also heard you got Brad there now, so keep him in check. So say hello to him as well.
You betcha. You too.